Hey everyone, Matron here bringing you another Starcraft 2 commentary, this time the third and final game in the best of 3 series between the Red Terran Foxer and the Blue Zerg Fruit Seller. So these players are playing in the round of 8 best of 3 series in the GSL All-Star Tournament, which is happening before GSL 3, so it happened last week, as GSL 3, the round of 64, did get underway just recently. We do have the former first season GSL winner in Fruit Dealer, and then Fake Boxer, or just regular old Boxer, was the runner-up in GSL Season 2, losing 4 games to 3 against Nestea. So in the first game of this series, Foxer did try some Banshee harass, bringing 3 Banshees as well as 4 repairing SCVs into the main base of Fruit Seller, who had 4 queens at the time and was able to fend off that harass, turn around with his Mutalisks, and just take down Foxer's main, as Foxer did not have many Marines at that point, just solely focusing on the 2 poor Banshees. Foxer then turned to a little bit more of his traditional play with the Marines as the focal unit of his army in that second game on Metalopolis, doing a great job microing those units, keeping the Marauders in the front of his army, absorbing a lot of that Baneling damage, and then the Zerglings and Banelings for Fruit Seller were not able to fend off the attack of Foxer. So we'll see which player is able to take this third and deciding game of this series and move on to the round of 4. We do see Foxer opening up with 2 barracks and foregoing an early gas, so he may be going for more Marine play here. In the last game he went 2 racks, brought a few Marines as well as SCVs, tried to throw down bunkers at the bottom of the ramp of Fruit Seller, who has gone for a 15 hatch here and a 15 pool, or 15 hatch and 14 pool, excuse me. So we may see the same sort of thing coming from Foxer this time with that early Marine harass. And then if that does not work, he typically throws 2 tech labs on these barracks, gets up another 2 barracks, and then just tries to macro up for a mid-game push. So this hatchery almost complete for Fruit Seller here. The first Marine coming across with the 2 SCVs, one following this Marine right on its tail there, and then the other SCV in the base of Fruit Seller. Fruit Seller is bringing down a number of drones. We do see a bunker trying to be thrown down there, but those drones are just going to be in the way. We see a Marine trying to take down this Overlord, but the drones are going to push it away, perhaps getting a surround on this Marine, trying to take down a low HP drone, but a good job microing that back by Fruit Seller there. Now a few more Marines coming in. First Marine does go down, but these SCVs are going to do a good job tanking damage for the Marines, getting in the way of these Zerglings, but 10 Zerglings have popped for Fruit Seller, and now he's going to chase away those Marines. See the 2 queens and 4 more Zerglings on the way for the Zerg player, and these Marines just retreating. He was not able to throw down any sort of bunker at the bottom of the ramp. That creep popped, and it's going to prevent any sort of building there. We do see a lot of those Zerglings now on the field. They are going to be able to control the early game here, as the Marines will not be able to move out. But one thing is these Zerglings are slow without the metabolic boost upgrade, so they will not be able to get a good surround on these Marines. See Marines and Zerglings now meeting in the middle with these SCVs. Foxer doing a good job microing back these Marines. If we look at the HP of those Marines, hardly losing any HP as he does shoot and scoot backwards, taking down these Zergling numbers. Now 4 Zerglings perhaps moving up into the natural of Foxer at this point. Foxer throwing up a command center. So now pushing away these scouting Zerglings. And at this point we do see Fruit Seller is just droning up very hard. If we look at the income tab of both players, 23 harvesters to 22. He knows that after he does defend this initial push by Foxer, the timing that he used in the second game, throwing down those tech labs, waiting for the stim and the combat shield and the concussive shell research before he pushes out again. So we will see Fruit Dealer here, whether he's able to take advantage there of the relatively passive Terran player and perhaps drone up. We see a Baneling nest going down as the SCV moving in, kind of a secondary scout around the 6-7 minute mark, wants to see whether the lair is up, does not want to waste a scan here, as that scan could be a mule worth about 300 minerals. Instead, we'll sacrifice one of those SCVs, just 50 minerals. He sees there is no lair, and Fruit Dealer just continuing to drone up right now, creating a few more Zerglings, but he does have 30 drones compared to the 26 of Foxer. Foxer does have those mules though, so going to be able to even up the mineral count just a little bit. In fact, the Terran player going to be at the advantage for the moment. We see an engineering bay completing the wall off the front door with the tech lab. The one tech lab working on that stim research right now. Metabolic boost coming out for the Zerg player, so that's going to give him a much easier time with those kiting Marines, and he's going to try to get us around next time they meet. Saw earlier on the micro of Foxer able to just dice and chop up those Zergling numbers around this area just because they did not have speed. But we do have the speed, about 3/4 of the way done, and more Zerglings now coming out for Fruit Dealer. So he was able to drone up a little bit, up to 39 drones compared to the 32. He's also now throwing down a hatchery in the base here, so wants to get more larvae. Also throwing down a hatchery in the southern area as well. Does have one spine crawler and now a number of banelings warping in or being created. Do see Foxer is about to complete stim. The combat shield will be done in about 40 game seconds as well, and he does have these initial marauders. He's going to use those at the front of his army to try to tank damage, so he does not die and does not lose any of these Marines to banelings, which are now on the field. We see a run by from Fruit Dealers, going to try to pick off a few of these reinforcing Marines and marauders for the Terran player, able to take down a few Marines there, but not really worth it. As the main force of Foxer now pushing out, we do see those marauders at the front. They're going to try to tank for these banelings. More banelings warping in the back. Those banelings doing a ton of damage against those marauders, taking down about 5 marauders in the front there. But these Marines are going to come in scot-free without any damage on them. But now tons of banelings coming up the ramp. Looks like Foxer nowhere left to micro with the Zerglings and the banelings on the creep there, moving so quickly. Now we see a number of reinforcing units were rallied into the base of Fruit Dealer, and he's going to try to get us around on those. We see a stim from the Marines and the Marauder trying to save their retreating buddies there, and these banelings are not in a good position. They are off the creep. They do not have the speed upgrade yet, so we're going to see a stim from Foxer trying to take down a number of these banelings. Perhaps should have taken 1 or 2 of these banelings and run the opposite way towards those Marines, force them to back up, and would have saved a bunch of those banelings as they retreated. Now we see Fruit Dealer pushing out across the middle with the Zerglings. A lot of these units are low as they have stim, trying to catch up to those banelings, and these 2 banelings making their way, waddling across the field as they do not have that speed upgrade. 3 queens on the way for Fruit Dealer, so maybe preparing, trying to get some transfuses in the late game and just keep his macro up and running. And now Fruit Dealer has totally reversed position, creating a ton of banelings here, 15 banelings in production, and he has put Foxer back on the defensive. Foxer throwing up, looks like 2 bunkers here, so going to fear a little bit of a baneling bust. And again, these bunkers are behind the engineering bay and away from the supply depot, so the baneling explosion will not do any damage to them. So smart positioning on those. One's going to cut off any access to this ramp as well. We see the Marauders being positioned in the front, Marines in the back. We may see a split as well, so the banelings will not do a lot of damage to them, but the banelings do not have the speed upgrade. I'm not sure he's even on a lair yet, which is required for that speed upgrade. Looks like he is just trying to macro up. He has 56 workers compared to 52 for the Terran player. So he's got a number of queens here. I'm not really sure where they all are. Now an evolution chamber coming down. So he already does have 1 evolution chamber working on that ground carapace level 1, and will be getting a ground attack as it does improve the baneling damage as well with that extra evolution chamber. It looks like Foxer is going to try to reverse direction here, take down these destructible rocks, using this factory for sight onto the high ground. So this Overlord did see this push out, and the Zerg player will know about this. We'll see how Fruit Dealer deals with this. He does not have any creep tumor over here, so he cannot position a spine by the ramp. Looks like we have a scan from Foxer. He's not going to see much. If we look at the production tab, 42 Zerglings coming for Fruit Dealer. So if he's able to hold on and have those reinforcing Zerglings hit that main base, all at the same time he could fend off this push. He's got to try to defend this ramp as well, forcing these Marines and Marauders into a bit of a bottleneck. If they get into the open space here and get some good kiting going, it's going to be lights out. See, he is focusing down the Baneling nest, so no more Banelings will come. If that can go down, we see a number of Banelings taking down those front Marines, taking about 1/3 of the Marines down, and now that Baneling nest was finished off. And we see more and more Zerglings coming for Fruit Dealer. 50 Zerglings on the way, trying to do a surround here with these Banelings, but the Marauders doing such a good job tanking for these Marines on the left side. Now on the right side, Banelings moving in, trying to take down these Marines. They are able to. It looks like we have the Marines stimming up, trying to micro away from the Zerglings and the Banelings there. Medevacs coming to the party a little bit late, but they will be healing up these units. Factory being landed there, perhaps to play a little bit of ring around the rosy, have a good area where he can micro around that factory. See these Zerglings pushing these units down the ramp, but down and above the ramp is going to be a lot of room for the Terran player to micro. So we see a lot of Marines still left and constant Marine reinforcements coming. 10 Marines on the way. See Zerglings and Banelings pushing in. Banelings not doing much damage. Fruit Sailor forced to build roaches as he does not have a Baneling nest. Trying to get another one up. It's about halfway done. Still about 40 game seconds. I'm not sure the game's going to last that long as more and more Marines are coming in, producing 8-10 Marines at a time here. And now almost a solely Marine army, but he does have a number of medevacs. 6 medevacs going to be very powerful. These Marines can stim with reckless abandon at this point, and he does need to take these Zerglings, these Roaches, and these Banelings attack all at the same time. Looks like he's going to stream in, not at the same time. These Queens are in the back. Roaches did not provide good tanking for those Banelings, and looks like Foxer is going to be able to clean up this army with the help of these medevacs. Again, just constantly stimming. These Marines doing so much DPS. Also has the +1 upgrade he did not have in the second game. Now the drones being pulled off the line for Fruit Seller, sort of a last-ditch effort. Really would have liked to see him pull all these units off at the same time. Drones, Banelings, Roaches, Queens, and Zerglings, and attack at the same time, perhaps cleaning that up, maybe moving that Spine Crawler as well. But instead we see the Marines just slicing through the army, one set of units at a time, and these medevacs just overkill at this point, keeping these coked out Marines alive as they take down this hatchery. Finally going to be able to take down this Roach Warren as well. Going to stop the Roaches from coming out, and Fruit Dealer just has no more tech structures and is going to have the GG. So Foxer does take this best of 3 series after the initial Banshee rush on Lost Temple, which he did lose. He came back and relied on his crazy Marine and Marauder micro, and that's sort of the bread and butter of his game. Took game 2 and game 3 quite handily here, so knocking out the GSL Season 1 champion in Fruit Seller. Just some great micro up top here in the main of Fruit Seller, able to stay alive behind the mineral patch. And then in the middle of the map early on as well, he had some good micro, able to lessen the number of Zerglings as they did not have speed yet. So Foxer really flexing his Marine muscle at this point. We'll see how he does in GSL Season 3. Fruit Seller hoping that he repeats his Season 1 success and is crowned champion once again. So I'll go ahead and cast more of the pre-GSL 3 tournament. If you're interested, check out my channel Matron Starcraft at youtube.com. Leave a comment. Let me know how you like the new video style, what you thought of the players play. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up or hit me up with a subscription. So thanks for watching this one.